Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco, and with me tonight I have Slicey Dicey. We will also be joined by Alex Tissot of Alex's Knifebox, and tonight we will be talking about a couple of upcoming knife drops. One from Real Steel, one from Riot, and we're going to talk about the Spider Edge, Sal Glesser, Jock's Knife. Good to have you, sir. Slicey, thank you for joining me, sir. It's always great to see you, and I've been seeing an awful lot of you recently, that's for sure.
Gonna keep up. Like once things calm down, I'll be back to one a day tops, one every other day probably. But yeah, everybody's stuck inside, and I feel like that's the only thing I can do.
Yeah,
is give people some stuff to look at, and honestly, don't have much else to do.
Well, I, for one, have been loving and looking forward to your videos on a daily basis, and your video on best knives under $50 inspired what we're going to talk about a little bit later on, as I've gotten one of the knives that's bears a family resemblance to one of the knives you mentioned in that video.
Intriguing.
Yes, a great video. Well, so we're going to talk about that and much more on this episode of Thursday Night Knives. Please comment and let us know your opinions, your questions, and join the conversation. And that's how this thing gets going. So anyway, Slicey, it's great to have you. I was reaching out to Terrell Zell. I wanted to see if he was able to join us tonight, and he said, "No, I'm busy." Basically, the paraphrase, "No, I'm busy keeping the lights on, buddy." So
yeah.
Thank you for the invite. I'm going to keep inviting him, and then someday soon things will be back to normal.
When he's on, let me know. I'd love to be on. Zell and I go way back, and way back as far as how long I've been around. He was really instrumental in me getting my channel going, and really helped me out a lot. And back when he was doing more Wii and Civivi, got me a lot of cool Civivis first, and really helped me out a lot. And those were it's kind of almost the brand that made me, I guess, because everybody really swallows those Civivi videos. And they're great knives, so they're not hard to be positive about. So yeah, and he's just always been a really good dude, very smart, very funny. My short-lived podcast, it was him and Stasa23 and myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was great. Every episode was really good, but it just wound up our schedules didn't mesh up, and he was getting busier and busier, and Stasa's got little ones running around, so it just never really worked out where we could all do everything at the same time. But they were a blast. They could have gone 3 hours long.
Well, I've attempted that some combination of you and Zell and Stasa in the last few weeks, and maybe someday that'll come to pass, because I had forgotten about that, but intuitively I thought that'd be
whenever somebody asks how I got my channel started, he's one of the number one people I credit for that. Him and Stasa and Love Them Knives. They were really helpful. Like, I messaged all them before I even started the channel, and they were all very, very quick to tell me, like, oh, here's what knives you need to buy to know, like, to have some benchmark kind of stuff. And because I was willing to invest some money in it, so I was like, hey, what do I need to get? And they were very cool. That helped me out. Like camera setups, like my camera setup is still aped. It's exactly what Love Them Knives has. It's the same exact setup that he has. Yeah, I said, what do I have to get? And he sent me a list of Amazon links, and I bought all of it. So Manfrotto, whatever. I'm not using it now, obviously, but for the top-down stuff, it's yeah, you have to buy them in pieces. So he told me like all the pieces I needed to get, and it's been great. And Zell is just he's forgotten more about knives than either of us will ever know.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He's a really smart guy, as is his brother. So together they make a good design team.
I actually was carrying one of his knives yesterday. Actually, literally one of his knives. A Bestech malware, and I was a bad friend, and I never got one to review. And at Blade Show last year, I mentioned, man, I really need to get one of those. And he's like, I'll make sure you get one. And then I was standing there talking to somebody else, and he walked up and stuck it in my backpack, and it was actually his out of his pocket.
Now review the damn knife.
It needed a sharpening, but it was because he uses his stuff for sure. So cool. Yeah, but I have his malware. I'll never get rid of that because it's his, and he helped me out, and it's just cool. And I love the malware. It's a really cool knife.
This is I do too. That's one of my favorites. Recent pickups. So I've recently started work in a hospital. Thank you, Jock's Knife. We appreciate it. What knife would you recommend? 3 inches or under, non-locking. Already have the UKPK, the Spyderco.
I kind of know Jock's taste a bit because he comments on my videos a lot. He's in the live chats a lot. I would say best in that category, if you can find one, or whenever they reopen and they do another run of them, TRM Atlas. Amazing knife. One hand open, still non-locking. Perfect little size, very slicey TRM blade you'd expect. I still have one, and I love it.
Well, tonight I wanted to talk about the new Poltergeist knife. It's or the new Real Steel knife. It's by Jason Wykorsowitz. I can never pronounce.
Chad Dameron. If you don't know Chad Dameron, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Chad Dameron with Southern Edge Knife Works.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Chad, welcome. Thanks for showing up. So the Luna, which is a knife that came out by Real Steel, which I have no experience with. I just think it looks cool.
I reviewed it. It's a fantastic knife. It was really great.
So that kind of falls in that category, right? Sub 3 inch or 3 inches.
The Luna is sub 3 inch. Yeah, barely. That would also be a good shout too. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. There are a lot of I feel like he said that and my mind went to like Great Eastern cutlery and stuff like that. But if you're wearing those are fussy. They're kind of fussy, and you don't want to rattling around in the bottom of your scrubs.
I can't stand that. And everybody bothers me. Why don't you review more traditionals? I don't like stuff banging around in my pocket. And yeah, I've tried slips and all that.
Yeah.
Now, Collector Knives actually went on their site last night to try and buy one. They didn't have them. They make a really nice slip with a pocket clip in the slip. And I thought, well, this may be my gateway. I'll review more traditionals, but they were out of them. So I didn't get it. But when those are back in, I'm going to get one of those and try and do some more traditionals. But I hate stuff banging around the bottom of my pocket. I can't stand it. I just like stuff with a pocket clip.
Or turning horizontally against the axis of your leg. Ugh.
That's worst. Yeah. Like I carried that Lucha, the Kershaw,
butterfly. Yeah.
And that's what I hated the most about it, because it's huge and it would fall sideways, and it just looked like I had some kind of prosthetic, like medical enhancement attached to my leg, and it was really annoying, and I just didn't like it because it didn't have a pocket clip.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe something in the realm of fifth pocket problem solved.
Yeah, that's what somebody just commented. Yeah, wow, you're a psychic. You said it the time that it was put up on the screen.
Thing is,
yeah, that is the best place to carry them, but I like bigger traditionals that don't necessarily work that well in the fifth pocket. So
I also find knives in the fifth pocket to be a little irritating. On the draw of your main right pocket knife, but also when you sit down, there's kind of another thing there, right at that fold.
Yeah.
Ray Laconico's Monterey Bay EWC is awesome.
Also a very good one. Yeah. I have nothing against slip joints. I mean, I still need to get off my butt and do the review. This is another Real Steel, the G slip. It's got a really nice, it's got a pocket clip though, but it's still a slip joint.
And that's an O-stop hell.
Way over 3 inches though, I think. But yeah, this is really nice. They're very inexpensive. I have nothing against slip. I love slip joints, but I just need a pocket clip.
Yeah. Just something to keep it civilized. That's two great options. Also hate traditionals. Yeah, and then if not, I love the idea of the I have one around here somewhere. The EDC organizer that's leather that fits in your pocket that takes on the shape and the character of the tools you put in.
Yeah,
it curves to your leg and patinas.
I have a romantic idea of one of those, but I just never wind up pulling the trigger on it.
But it's kind of like walking around with
I'm going to drink beer.
Salute! I love Brooklyn Lager, but it's like. It's like wearing thigh pads, like football thigh pads. Oh yeah, what I was gonna say before is cheers to Zell. Just friend of the show and friend of us both, and he's still out there banging away every night, making sure things are good for us and we're on our way. So cheers.
Yeah. I love Zell. My favorite thing about Zell was I would sometimes call him and ask if I was wrong, and he'd very gently tell me that you're wrong.
Yeah, well, yes, you are.
Yeah.
So let me show you this. I'm going to show off for a second. I showed the blank of this maybe last week or 2 weeks ago, but I finished a kitchen knife.
That is awesome.
And thank you. It's got some pretty harsh flaws, like where my hand wasn't so steady and I took a giant gouge, but I'm learning. And this is kind of set up like a Japanese knife so that it's a chisel, but when you slice, like things kind of fall off the side of it. And yeah, I've been using it, and it's good. It's good, but it's still, it's a thickish piece of steel for a kitchen knife, and I could stand to make the edge thinner, but it's fun, and it's going to be sort of an experiment, something that
It's a hell of a lot better than I could do. I can tell you
keep
that.
tweaking. Oh, well, thank you. And it takes me, this is about 2 years to make, because I got all excited, cut this out, and then sent it to get heat treated, and that took a while, and then it came back, and I lost interest. That's how my hobbies wax and wane, and then I'll pick it up, once there's a quarantine or something like that, and continue with the project. Spirited Whiskey, nice to have you. Jens Anzo Monte Carlo Custom has a killer pocket clip. Double D10 system is flawless, 2.6, but $800. Whoa.
Spirited Whiskey has a larger budget than most of us.
Spirited Whiskey, I'm unfamiliar with your collection, but I need to familiarize myself.
Oh, he has some amazing stuff for sure. I'm only vaguely familiar with it from watching comments on myself and Metal Complex and stuff. But yeah, he has an amazing collection, absolutely, for sure.
So does he or anyone have any Tashi Barucha, whose work I think is hey Alex, good to see you, sir. Oh man, you know what? My electricity cut out last night, or 2 nights ago. We were trying to Jim and I were trying to make a recording, trying to interview someone, and our electricity kept cutting out. It was weird because it was perfect.
What a
and beautiful.
Terrifying time for your electricity to cut out. Oh my god! Like, I would flip out. I'd be like, "Is it coming back on? Is this the end?"
Yeah, and then like 15 seconds later, it came back on.
Wow.
And I forgot all about it.
That would have been a terrifying 15 seconds of my life.
Yeah, it happened again today.
Are you on edge with all this stuff? I'm getting pretty edgy.
I'm a little bit on edge, but you know what? I've only been teleworking since Tuesday. I was going into the office every day until then. So I had a sense of normalcy to my life. My wife was slowly becoming unhinged because she has a tremendous amount of responsibility at work that she was doing. And then the girl, my daughters have a full curriculum. Even my pre-K daughter has a full effing curriculum that they got to take care of. So it's double duty. So on edge that way. But it's funny you should say that, because I was talking to my mother, and she kind of said, I'm sensing a little tension, like a little inner tension in myself. And for my mom to say that, I was kind of like, because she's just the type of person where I'd be like, oh my god, it's all coming to an end. She'd be like, all right, just settle down there, honey. I've seen a lot in my day. This ain't the end.
We had a huge temperature change here. It was like 2 days ago, it was almost 70, and then next day the high was 36, and we had a little bit of snow today. It didn't stick, but yesterday morning I woke up and we hadn't had the heat on because it was 70, and so it was like 60 degrees in the house. And I had that feeling you get, like you when you're camping and you wake up and your nose is clogged up and your chest is a bit tight, just for the temperature changing so much.
Yeah,
I thought for sure I had the virus. Like, I was freaking out, like taking my temperature every hour and everything. And then I took an allergy pill, and an hour later it was gone. But yeah, I'm pretty tense about it, I do have to say.
I got to say, I'm not, I like to carry a slip joint in a sheath on my belt, scout carry. Hardly notice it at all. I've seen trappers, like case trappers, carried that way, and they make a scout sheath specifically for that. It's pretty grim. I'm portering in a hospital ATM. My missus is cleaning. It's pretty grim. Yowza. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you for being there, man. Thank you for being there.
Very much appreciate it. Or if you even just work in a grocery store, people just have to work right. Like, my son works at a grocery store, so
oh my god,
he's got to leave the house all day, and we make him come home and take his clothes off, put him in the wash, get in the shower, all that stuff, But
so let me just tie off that loop. You asked if I'm feeling tense. I think that I will eventually feel the tension of cabin fever. And the thing that I'm not so worried about the getting the virus itself. It's kind of like in God's hands in a way. It's like I can't control what I breathe in. Yes, I can mask and stuff like that, but ultimately I can't control the vapors I breathe in. but what freaks me out is how people behave when they get desperate. And I went through a period of time where I was, in the prepping mindset, some years back, and back then, if I were thinking the same way now as I was back then, I think I would be a little bit more tense about it.
I will admit I am much more aware of how close I live to the Canadian border than I used to be.
Interesting.
Like I'm not that. Obviously, the border's closed, but still, like I am aware of that, and I have friends that live in Canada. Maybe I could get in, like just the stupid little things you think about that aren't possible. But you just have that in your head of those weird little plans.
Wow. Where is that Spirited Whiskey? What part of the country? We're
not too bad here yet. A lot of people freaked out when because I posted that video because so many people, because when they closed down New York, which we're not allowed to leave the state. If I drive to Pennsylvania, I'm getting a ticket. I'm going to get pulled over immediately. But I'm in upstate New York, so my county's not good, but it's not horrible. I think we have like 100 deaths and 700 or 800 cases. Like our death rate's really high, but the case number isn't that high. But my city alone is almost 500,000 people if you include the suburbs. So it's a lot of people, but still it's kind of, we're not New York City. I think everybody thought I lived in New York City just because I always said New York, and people don't realize that New York is a gigantic state. Like New York City is 6.5 hours away. So it's at a point, like the last week or so it was weird. Now it's like kind of scary. I had to go out today. I had to go to the post office to ship some stuff out, and it was right across from an Aldi, grocery store. So we needed a few little things. So I went in there, and I had the mask and the gloves on and all that. It was the first time I've been in a grocery store in like a week and a half, and it was a lot different. It was really weird. Like it was definitely that was a bit scary.
Well, if I were in a frame of mind where I was worried about plots and conspiracies and that kind of thing, I would say, well, if you're going to construct something to atomize a society and keep them from gathering and talking, women carry knives. Lovely to have you. Thank you.
When we're done with this, I'm going to show. I just got a loaner from Women Carry Knives today.
I want to see it. I want to see it. Where was I going with that? I don't even know where I was going with that. I think it's going to end sooner than we think it is. I think it does seem to be getting better, faster than we thought it would. So let's just hope. We're not going back to normal for years. Yeah, but back to functioning society fairly shortly. 20 patients, 10 with the virus, none awaiting results. Also, others have been turned into wards.
Yeah.
Wow. Jesus. Yeah. Well, there was a comment earlier about
damn hands.
Hey, Alex, what's up, man?
Hey, Alex, how's it going, man?
What's going on, Slicey? What's up, Bob?
How you doing? It's great to have you, sir.
Oh, that was a challenge. I couldn't get my crap to work.
I had no clue what you looked like. I've subscribed to your channel and I watch your videos, but I never guessed what you looked like. So. You look young.
There he is.
I'm almost 40.
Oh, he is so young, the babe in ours. I'm the elder statesman here.
I'm 45 in 3 weeks.
Oh, you see? Yeah, we're all right around the same.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Still, so we were just saluting Zell, who I invited on the show tonight, but he's keeping the lights on, he says, so he can't show up. But he's looking forward to the day that he can be not working and can join us again. I wanted to, and I was also showing off the new kitchen knife I finished. It works well, but it needs a less steep angle.
So you know what that reminds me of?
What's that?
It looks a little bit similar to the Chris Reeves kitchen knife. It looks really awesome, actually.
Oh, thank you.
It has kind of like that slight, almost like that nice belly to it.
Sort of sheepskin.
Yeah. I mean, that's really nice, Bob.
Thank you. The angle of the handle is wrong though, because when you do a rock and cut, you hit your your knuckles. That's more of like a fighting angle. So I would change it the next time, but whatever.
It's your kind of fighting knife.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Kitchen fighting knife. It's if somebody doesn't like your souffle,
yeah. Almost 40. LOL. Yeah. I'm 48. Okay, there it is. I am the elder statesman. Jim behind the scenes. I know he's a little bit older than I am, but I'm not sure. So let's keep it like that. Coming in at 29 and feeling young.
20. I feel so behind now because I know what an awesome collection he has, and he's 16 years younger than me.
You've been slacking, brother.
I know I have, and I have connections, and I'm still behind. That's awful. I have no excuse.
So on last week's show, I saw 49 this year. All right, so we're the same age. I'm going to be 49 this year too in August. So
August what?
Hey, Stasa, it was good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Stasa. Thank you, sir.
Stasa, what's up?
Was just talking about you, actually.
Lovely kitchen fighting knife. Yeah, we were talking about you, and we got to get you back on. Hey, put me full screen for a second, Jim. Not to be a megalomaniac, but someone on last week's show asked me about the painting behind me.
I was going to ask you about that.
But I for some reason I tried to answer his question, and it just kept taking me to a page that didn't have his comment. I couldn't do it, so I'm going to say it right here. This is a painting that my grandfather made when he was in art school in like 1930 or 32 or something.
Wow.
Way back when. We all used to joke. It was in the basement of their New York. They lived in Rockland County, New York, and it was in the basement behind the bar, behind a whole bunch of other stuff. And as kids, my brother and I would sneak down there and look at it. And then we would also ask my grandmother if it was hers, and she would of course be mortified if it was her. No, that was some model at art school. So that's what this is.
From his art school days.
Exactly. So not only is it a woman with a lovely derriere, but my grandfather painted it when he was a young art student. So
he really captured the essence of in that picture.
There's some roundness. There's some three-dimensionality.
I was going to ask you last episode, are you a fan of Renaissance era French art, or do you just like big butts?
Well, I guess two things can be true at once.
Little column A, little column B.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. So there we have. So let me ask you. Let me run these two knives by you guys. These are some knife news. I go to knife news because they're. Hey Tyler.
Hey Tyler, how's it going, man?
What's up, Tyler?
So New Real Steel. Do you guys know Poltergeist? Poltergeist knives out of Poland.
I reviewed a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
So his name Jacob Wyzorkowicz. I think
it's better than what I could do.
Yeah. I had it before I was practicing, and I was sounding like I myself was Polish, and now I can't remember how I was saying it. But they have I love his design language, especially. I love that big, chunky hardware he uses, and his blade shapes and all this. I know Terra Fanatic used to collect his stuff, and I used to kind of drool over the stuff he would post. But anyway, he's done a couple of things with Real Steel, as we mentioned earlier when we had the question about the sub 3-inch clipped non-locking knife that someone needs to work in a hospital. We mentioned the Luna, and so this is the knife that's coming out kind of as the bigger locking brother of the Luna. And excuse me, it's called the what are they calling this thing? The Phasma. That's right. Phasma.
Dude, that thing looks sweet though.
Yeah, it is beautiful,
and the Luna's fantastic. So
the Luna is.
What's the blade steel on that?
So that is D2, and the handle is steel, but it's heavily milled stainless steel. And one of the unique selling propositions of this knife is that you can get it in the configuration you see here, or you can get it with a thumb stud. So cool. You can do one-handed or two-handed deployment.
Yeah, so the two-handed open is really. So I used to live in Germany, and I go there every year. Not this year, but I theoretically go there every year for a month or so. They have a really weird law, so I see why that's designed that way. And a few other European countries have copied it. You can either have one hand open or locking, but not both.
Oh, geez.
So that's why you see a lot of line steels and stuff with flipper tabs that are removable. So if you live in a locale where you're not allowed to have both, you can keep the locking and just take the flipper tab off from it.
So just right off the top of your heads, guys, without thinking about it, what do you choose? Locking or one-handed open?
One-handed. No, locking.
I choose one-handed open.
Okay.
Depending on the back spring, of course. As long as the back spring is tight enough, I choose one-hand open.
Okay.
See, I have the Real Steel 3001, the Poltergeist Bladeworks model.
Cool.
And that one's kind of the same thing. It's a locking knife with no thumb studs or anything like that. And I got the one that Jacob actually takes and refines it himself or whatnot. I was an idiot. Because I talk to Jacob sometimes online and on Instagram. And then he posted this knife. It looked like a good, because I don't follow Real Steel too much, but people were like, well, he posted a picture of this 3001. And then people were putting bids on this knife. It was an auction. It was like $50, $80. I'm like, shit, nobody's bidding $250. Let's go. And then I was just trying to spice up the auction for him. And then I ended up winning it. So I bought it.
That'll learn you.
But it's a really, really nice knife. Besides the fact I have to use two hands to open it, it's something that, it is what it is.
Somebody mentioned in the comments, they said it looks hard to disassemble. They're super, super easy. Honestly, I coming from a bicycle background, those bolts are basically the same as like a chainring bolt so you basically just need a large flathead or a coin or something and an Allen key. They come right apart. They are not at all difficult to take apart. They don't have Torx on them. So if you're a knife guy that's used to Torx, you may be like, oh, that looks weird. But they're actually easier than most knives because it's just those two bolts. I'm pointing at my screen as if you can see me. But
see right there. Yeah.
It's just those two bolts and that's it. And the whole thing falls apart. They're super easy to take
Thank you,
apart.
Jim. He's circling them with the cursor.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Those I love the way they look. I'm sure they're very effective too, because they seem quite stout and thick to be anchoring down both the
they're
both
way
sides
more
of
bolts
that.
than you ever are going to need.
But they look cool too,
and they're light
sure
too, though. And I think one of my I think I went to my garage and I think they were using basically Shimano chainring bolts, which there's no complaint there. That's not a knock. They're awesome. Like they're really good quality stuff, but it looks like Shimano chainring bolts.
So one thing, Phasma, I'm not sure what that means outside of Star Wars, and I am not a Star Wars person. Well, I like him as much as the next guy.
I have an 18-inch Captain Phasma off to my left.
Oh, let's see. This is what Phasma is.
It's just too far to go get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's my kids.
She's the chrome general stormtrooper.
Yeah. So I got it before the first movie came out, where she just immediately gives up the codes. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it, because I thought Captain Phasma looked so cool. So my kids got it for me for Christmas. We saw the movie after they bought it, but before they gave it to me, and by then I realized Captain Phasma is just like a terrible character. but I have an 18-inch. Captain Phasma.
I actually also see in the background you have a schematic of a TIE fighter. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. I can't remember who. I think my wife got that for me. I might have bought that one for myself. Yeah, I got lots of nerdy stuff. I got my Vegeta and Gambit and my Star Wars poster and a model of my father's old airplane and a bunch of. I have a bit of a man cave up here. I like it a lot. It's a nice place to hang out. It's a giant freaking mess. If I scrolled down 4 inches, you'd be like, "Oh my god, this guy's big." But
and you have the the Van Gogh drove. So another thing that I don't like. Oh yes, actually,
good idea. Very good idea.
Yeah.
There are probably a lot of those clamp on, like the ones that clamp on bucks and stuff. I can't remember the name of the company. Who makes those? God, my son has 2. He has 2 bucks and he has it on both of them.
I have one of those. I can't remember who makes it though.
Like bucks. It's called Thumb something. I think Thumb isn't the name of it. One of the commenters will correct us.
Has anyone started to carry a larger knife since isolation has begun?
Hell yes. Because I don't care. I'm not leaving my house. So for me, it's all been huge knives and automatics. Because in New York State, I'm allowed to own an automatic. I just can't concealed carry one. I'm allowed to carry it if I'm hunting or fishing or trapping or whatever. But so I'm allowed to have them. So I have a few autos and I've been able to carry them. Like, well, hell, I can't leave the house. So why not? So it's been all autos and giant knives.
Your cold steel. You've had a cold steel obsession, dude. Oh, I love that knife.
Talk about a huge knife. This thing's
that's the FUK, right?
This is the Viper.
Oh, the Viper.
So this one, it's not
that one.
So that's not my knife. This is actually my buddy Dirks who gave it to me for a review. But I have been playing with this thing. Look at the way the flipper tab is. It's got like a landing pad, you know?
Yeah.
So you can just flip it out.
It's got a landing pad like 7 inches away from the back of the knife. I love it.
That was like when they said, "How big do you want the flipper tab?" And Greg just said, "Yes."
I don't know how big is physically.
Oh my god! But I gotta hand it to him. It actually is comfortable. Like it's that little pad is quite comfortable. It's
probably not so comfortable when you reach in your pocket.
No.
Well, that was their first flipper, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember seeing a video, and he was like, like everyone's demanding it. So damn it, here's your flipper.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
that's what.
It's almost
I
like
feel
a
like that's
middle
what
finger.
Hinderer did with the XM18. Like when everybody said you have to get rid of the Teflon washers, you have to give us bearings. So we said, okay, here's your bearings, but I'm putting the Teflon and the bronze ones in the box.
Yeah, and
I think that's how the Tri-Way pivot was born. Was just out of him being stubborn.
And the flipper tab is still going to be pointy and pokey. Yeah, even though I love it, and you couldn't catch me. Therapeutic Edge, it's lovely to have you, sir.
What's up, Therapeutic?
Well, you've gone what other way since I'm carrying
He's
smaller
probably
stuff.
Carrying smaller stuff.
I got you.
I've heard a lot of people doing that because they're walking around in like sweatpants and pajama pants. I think I own 2 pairs of pajama pants, and I don't like sweatpants. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't care if I'm still in the house. I need my pockets. I need all my stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of true.
Without all my stuff, so I'm still carrying around my wallet and a flashlight and a knife and all this. And it's like, I just need all my stuff. It's just my security blanket.
And if I'm expected to work or telework or talk to fine gentlemen such as yourself, I can't do it in sweatpants or pajama bottoms because I wouldn't be hanging out in your room, hanging out at your house in pajama bottoms. It always makes me feel like it's less business. So, gentlemen,
I take my pants off for podcast.
I'll have you know I'm wearing pants tonight. I've been carrying this little sucker around a lot recently.
There you go.
I just sold mine.
Oh God, I love this little. It's like a little auto scalpel. It really.
But I only sold. I do like the Launch 9 a whole lot, but I only sold it because I got this one.
Oh, is that the Calmigo?
The Calmigo Tron, yeah.
That's badass.
Tron, is that a reference to? I think I see some complex.
Yeah, because of the milling on it.
That's awesome.
But the Launch 9 is really cool. I really did like that a lot. It's just, there were a couple of ergo things I didn't like, but each hand's different. So
I have found it's a great. I've been doing a lot more crafts than usual lately, and it is a great little. It's a great little craft knife because you can kind of hold it like a pencil or an X-Acto knife if you're cutting stuff out. And we got to justify these purchases, and so. If I need to cut something out of construction paper, I got the thing for it.
I think the dumbest stuff I carry is like I walked around all day today with this, like this big giant flashlight.
So wait,
the hell do I need that?
So you were at home
a through night TC15, like it showed up in the mail today. So I was like, awesome, and put it in my pocket and carried it around the whole day. And
you're like,
I have no need for that.
I hope we have an eclipse today, man. I will be ready for that eclipse. The lights, the flashlights, I have yet to quite get into. I've been in quarantine for the last 5 years, so now it just changed here. we got a well-equipped man. So you were showing off. Since you were showing your Medford, I have to. Well, not yours, but the most recent one. I was downing a cold steel GI Tanto on my belt. Oh yeah, that's a nice.
Wow.
Yeah. You can get those things scary sharp. They don't show up that sharp because they're kind of like pry bars when they come to you, but you can get them really sharp. Carry any size in Minnesota, but for some reason I can't own an auto. Because
you can't own one? That sucks.
I'm in Los Angeles, same thing.
It's because West Side Story, because Rebel Without a Cause. Didn't you see those movies?
Dirk, what's up, buddy?
Coming to check on his knife. Make sure it's still okay. Make sure the ninjas didn't take it.
Oh yeah, actually, he just got here today. Yeah, but he actually gave me this one to review too. Which this one I wish I could buy off of him. I'm drooling over this thing. It's a micro Praetorian in 3V with a Vulcan finish, sculpted. Dude, this is the coolest one I've ever seen. Usually the micros are pretty plain. But this thing is wow, in 3V too.
So what is micro in the Medford Praetorian world?
It's like a 3-inch blade, but it's still thick as hell.
Yeah, look at that blade stock. It's massive.
God, that's cool. So since you're showing that off, and since Dirk is here, and he has inspired. Since you told me to check out his videos, he's inspired much of my love for Medford. I just got my first Praetorian.
There you go.
Oh my good gravy! It is a really outstandingly beautiful knife, and you know I often like to say the first time I saw this design, I chuckled and I was like, what is that? But years later, I have come to really, really love this design, and then actually having it and using it and holding it changes everything. I mean, I really thought it was a novelty knife, but this thing
they actually can cut things.
Oh my God.
It actually cuts, man. This
really is an
does.
Incredibly sharp and slicey knife.
I've only had the production Praetorian, but it was a loaner, but I was much more impressed with it than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
It almost seems like audacity for audacity's sake, or at least that's what I thought when it first came out. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it probably kind of is.
Yeah. But luckily,
but they do actually work.
He made a great useful thing out of it. And man, I like its thingness. I like to hold it and open it, and someday it will be smooth like the slim midi you sold me, Alex. But right now it's just like it's kind of pleasingly stubborn and difficult.
It behaves just like Greg Medford does.
Pleasingly stubborn, yeah.
You wouldn't want anything else. And actually, oh good Lord,
he's begging for attention. See what I did there?
that was excellent.
Since Dirk is on, I wanted to make sure he knew all 3 of his knives got here.
Jeez, that is beautiful.
I had one of those as a loaner as well. They're beautiful.
That's the Eclipse, right?
This is the Glimpse.
Glimpse, not Eclipse. Yeah. Glimpse.
And it's really, really, really damn smooth. I'm very impressed.
They're great. They're Riot, right?
No, this is a legit one. This is a Todd Begg knife.
Oh, it's an actual Begg one.
Wow.
So you guys got to check out Dirk's channel. He's awesome. He's got some crazy one-off, expensive, cool stuff.
What's his channel name?
Dirk Warning.
Warning. I think it's WERNING.
Yep.
I will check that out.
Yeah, Excellent. Check him out. I mean, it's all a lot of monster knives, but he's also doing like some other stuff too. Like I'm not going to spoil what he's got in from on loan today, but it's some wild stuff. It's like some Dr. Franke stuff.
Oh, some Mr. Furley. Hey, congrats on the Praetorian. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And actually, there was just this one happens to be really incredibly beautiful here also, and it comes from my good buddy Stu up in Vermont with Stone and Steel knife company, knife selling company. But it's like the exact setup I would have wanted, and luckily he had it. But someone was just asking about the slim Medfords, and me being an absolute noob, all I have is this big chunker and then this little slim MIDI, and this is really nice. I mean, I put this on the same shelf with my Spidey Chef and my Sage 2 and my I have a couple of other thin, nicely engineered titanium knives, and this is like chief among them. I've been really your slim Praetorian. All right, I wonder, is it as slim as this? I mean, because this is incredibly. This knife is
the slim MIDI is the one that I want, and like I actually talked to Greg.
Thank you.
And the last Blade show, I said, "Hey man, I really want a Slim Midi. I want to buy it at the show. Hold me one." He didn't. So I showed up there because I waited till the second day because I thought he was holding me one, and he didn't. And but he chased someone down, walked by who he knew had bought one from him, and said, "Hey, give me the knife so he can check it out." And I play with it. And the Slim Midi is, that's the one I buy. Absolutely.
Yeah. It is definitely a crossover. If you think Medfords are a little ridiculous, and then you get your hand on this, and you're like, wait a sec, this is really nice. I wonder what that chunky stuff is like. Thanks for the shout out, Alex. A mixed bag of stuff for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Jim, can you go back?
Oh, my EXK Plus.
What's
up, James? It's this one. I brought it out for him. He's been asking me. This is a Trevor Berger custom EXK Plus. It's like the thicker one, and with some mammoth inlays. So yeah, it's something that James is a big fan of. And when this came out at Blade Gallery, I couldn't say no. It's really nice. I can say that Trevor Berger is unbelievable as far as a craftsman. His knives are just perfect.
So it looks South African. Is he South African?
Yeah, he's a South African maker.
Okay, so you can spot a Russian knife and you can spot a South African knife. Do you think that's true? Or am I being racist? Okay.
Definitely the South African. I'm not sure I can always spot Russian, but you can definitely spot South African. Absolutely.
I feel like I'm usually the Slim Praetorian is very similar to the Slim Midi in size. All right. And since to me, the Praetorian is the prettiest of those knives, I would say. So we're talking about these beautiful, expensive, but it's on bearings. What's on bearings?
I think you meant the Slim Praetorian.
Okay. That's on bearings?
Yeah.
I didn't know that either, actually. That's cool.
Well, I just put up a review of a front flipper today since you're front flipping. I just put this review up actually, but this is a loaner from Shabazz. But
sweet.
Love that knife.
That's good looking, man.
Hell, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I really like. I was intrigued because it's Laconico and it's Artisan. The first time they worked together.
Yeah.
But like I said in the review, I feel like the design is like, Laconico can be kind of boring and plain, and Artisan can be a bit too crazy. And I think you mix them together, and this is just the action on it is amazing. It's honestly the easiest front flipper I've ever had.
God, I just can't get over how much I really love that design. I think
I need to, as soon as this is done, I need to message Nick, and because he said he was going to auction it off for a charity. I'm like, okay, what charity do I have to give money to?
So what's that? What's the blade length on that?
A little under 3.5. It's like 3.4 something.
Yeah, that's right.
That thing is sweet, man. I love that blade. And then the milling in the center.
Shape. It's not horribly thin behind the edge. I guess you get spoiled by. I review a lot of Wees and Civivis that are 14,000s behind the edge all day long. Right. This is like a 22, 23. So it's not crazy, but the blade stock's thin. It's like 0.12, 0.13. So still really slicey. Ergos are great. Looks great. They could have smoothed out a couple of edges here and there, finish stuff. But other than that, and they're only 200 on the Artisan site. They were 266, but they just popped up on Knife Center for pre-order at 200. So that's what they're going to cost when they hit the street.
Good news.
What's the blade steel they put on that one?
S35.
S35.
I don't know if this camera's not going to pick it up, but there's a bunch. Like it's not just smooth tie; it's like milled. It's like a twill.
Like a pinstripe, like real fine pinstripes.
It's like a twill sort of pattern on it. And
that's right. I think Women Carry Knives did a real close up on that. She did a good video on that.
Great.
So you were talking about Civivi. I got my first Civivi. I got the Shredder.
That's a good choice.
God, man, this thing is. I was talking about this as being a scalpel, the little Launch 9. This thing really is unbelievably thin. And I mean, you're starting with a very thin blade stock, and it's hollow ground to nothing. It's it's slipping between atoms.
I think it's about 13 or 14 thousandths behind the edge, if I remember.
Jeez, Pete, it is so. And that tip,
it's a knife that makes you realize I have too many boxes around.
Yeah.
I need to destroy them.
Yes, and there are a few things more gratifying than lightly, just letting the weight of it drop through the saran wrap, on the top of a package of meat or something, and just dragging it around and making the corners without having to stop and take out the knife. And I mean, this thing is incredible. And now I want more Civivis, even though I don't see myself necessarily carrying them much, but just using them, playing with them. Yes, I did. Yes, I found it. It was on the laundry room floor. So I think it's popped out of my, there's like this constant cycle of laundry in this house. There's always laundry being done. I'm sorry. What was that, Brian?
I would recommend your next Civivi. You go from the Shredder, one of the most appropriately named knives ever, to one of the worst named knives ever. But the Asticus is pretty awesome.
That one is really awesome. I just reviewed that one.
Yeah,
that one was so nice. I never measured the thickness behind the edge though. I just kind of reviewed it.
Shredder.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful design too.
It was the first Civivi I ever bought.
I've got the Damascus one, and I love it. It's just a beautiful thing.
Now Dirk is going to be doing a giveaway when he gets to 400 subscribers. He's giving away that Civivi. It's a Damascus one too that I sold him. So if you guys want one,
the Wee Mask, as we call it,
the Wee Mask. Hey, Jim, go back a couple to Stas's last comment. He was talking about the Praetorian slim. Yeah, the slim doesn't act like it's on bearings. Oh, okay. So Stasa must have mentioned that. So it's on bearings, doesn't act like it's on bearings. I'm wondering now about bearings these days. I didn't know my Slim Praetorian was on bearings until Greg said it, but it was very smooth and the thumb breaking lock tension. Okay. Oh,
I guess you wouldn't know because you can't take them apart.
Yeah.
You got to take his word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of an unfortunate thing, I have to say. I was like, oh. I looked at this and I was like, oh, I know I don't have a spanner or pivot tool, but I was like, oh, it's got Torx though. And then I look and I was like, oh, it's the Torx with the little lingam in the middle that I have to, so you need a special tool, but that's fine. That's fine. To me, that means this better be a damn great knife. And I think it is. So, I mean, in speaking with the man, you get the feeling that, he doesn't want it on his conscience that a bad knife goes out. So I'll take it. Does the Asticus really need that big blade choil?
It's comfortable to use.
I like it.
It doesn't really bother me.
It fit my finger just right.
There are some people though that just don't like the they don't like losing the blade length, from having a choil. But I like to choke up, so I don't ever usually complain about it.
Well, I don't actually use them. I guess maybe if I did, I'd appreciate a choil more often. But I love when it just comes back and you get your nice little sharpening choil at the back, like right there.
Yeah.
I will admit the choil does sometimes, come in handy if you're actually going to use the thing. But who really does that? Of course, I'm joking.
Is Women Carry Knives still on here? So her and her husband, a therapeutic edge. Remember, just last episode I was on, I mentioned that I did not realize they were married until
I was watching that.
Yeah. Well, they were on my live chat. They loaned me a knife today, and I should hate this. You guys know Brian Speck. If you watch my channel, I like plain, boring knives. They sent me this Reich. Oh my god!
Oh wow, that's crazy.
It is insane. It's like I should hate this, and I just love it. It's like a complete mess that just works out.
Let's see
it's
the
total mess.
That's beautiful. What is that called?
It's the 1902.
Can I see that carbon fiber up close?
Yeah,
it's like a red shred, huh?
Yeah, red marble carbon and all these brass accents and blue for some freaking reason. And it just bluish purple even kind of, and it just looks.
So I got to say,
it works.
You don't hear.
Why does this work?
They like do the most complex stuff. I think. Reich. I mean, like everything looks organismic in one way or another. Like they do some incredible sculpture.
I was chatting with friends earlier. I called it. It's like an orgasm with a blade attached to it. I'm sorry. Is that not PG enough for the?
No, that's why we have it at 10 o'clock, sir. Oh my God! Look at
We're
that.
past the watershed.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, right, the watershed. Look at that. Jeez, oh man, what is that thing on top? Is that a
That is a Peacemaker.
Is that
Phil Harvey's Peacemaker?
Jeez,
Yeah,
I need
that
one of
thing
those, man.
It's oh god. The pocket clip was 5 inches on it. I think the blade is about the same.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
So before we go too far off, I want to come back to a video you just made, Slicey, your best knives under $50. Watching that video made me realize that I have two wheelhouses. One is like expensive tactical knives that I like, and then the other is inexpensive knives of cool design.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a great list of knives for under $50. I think you had 12 or 11 or 12 of them.
10, yeah.
10, and why wouldn't I have just chose 10? But a great list, and I just wanted to ask you how you came up with those, and what role do these kind of knives play in your collecting? I know you're up in some rarefied air with some of your collection. So what role do these knives fill for you?
Not really. I wouldn't say my collection's up in rarefied. Everything I have is production. I don't have any customs. I've modified some, or modified as far as like bought aftermarket parts. Like the most I've done is dye some stuff. And today I did my first heat anno, and it worked out all right. But on some Hinderer stuff. But no, it's just I do appreciate those. That's what got me into knives, is that 50-ish range. I am going to do another video 50 to 100 because I was just going to do it under 100, and there's no way I could limit it to 10. So I split it, into 2. And I still have a great appreciation for those knives, but a lot of them I have, for the channel, like, because I know that's what a lot of people buy, and that's what they want to see videos of. And I just tried to pick stuff that, like, if I picked the funnest knives you could have for under 50, it would have been a completely different list. But some of those same ones would have made it. But it's just I want to have useful stuff that's really good. I did make one omission that I probably should have put. I didn't put the Rake P801 in, which I definitely should have. But I don't know what's up with Rake right now. It's kind of weird. Like, they've kind of vaporized, so I'm not sure what's up. So I kind of had that,
as it did with Tangram, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and Tangram's kind of gone too, but Tangrams are still all over on Amazon. Excuse me. And that's what actually was on the bump, was those two. Like, which one? Because I don't know what's going on with them. And the P801 is still available a few places, but I just like the Tangram just a tiny bit better than the P801. And a lot of people do knife shop on Amazon, but I'm kind of digressing. But yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to catch some flack, so I said in the intro, there's no Ganzos on here, and explain why there's no Ganzos and why there never will be any on my channel.
And why is that? Let people know, why is that?
Oh, because they copy stuff.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
No, just no.
Yeah.
I'm not. No, there's a few manufacturers that, and somebody replied, Ganzo's designs are mostly original. Yeah, the operative word being mostly.
Yeah.
So,
but the ones that they sell are direct ripoffs.
Oh, well, yeah, a lot of them are, and I just don't appreciate that. And I think part of that is me being a quote unquote artist, if you can call a comedian being that. If somebody when somebody steals one of my jokes, I get really pissed off.
Yeah, man.
And I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to support that. So I didn't put them on. I didn't put any Tucson's on. I do like Tucson's. I don't put them in that same category. They're just really kind of hard to get for me, because they sell out super quick. You have to go to eBay or something. I don't like eBay.
Yeah.
So they're pretty tough to get your hands on. I know White Mountain Knives, who's a sponsor of mine, and they have them in stock sometimes, but he gets them and they're gone in like a day before I can ever get my hands on them. So
I've had so many people recommend those to me. Like, have you tried?
They're great. I have one here. I have a slip joint one here, and it's a freaking awesome knife for sure. I mean, it's a great knife. I have nothing against Tucson. I don't put them in that same kind of category.
I've seen that one.
That's pretty.
That's a really cool pattern.
Clip point recurve.
Copper. I don't remember what model it is. I have no recollection, but it's M390 and copper and titanium. It's a tank for the size of it, but it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
But I have nothing against Tucson. It's just I don't get my hands on them. And when I do those top 10 videos, it's stuff that I have or that I've at least held. So I'm not going to include anything that I have no experience with.
Yeah, something you can definitely recommend. Your comment on the Santa Fe really resonated. I love this knife. It's
amazing.
It is really an outstanding knife. I sent one to my brother when they first came out, and he loves his. And it's just, where did Tangram go?
They're still on Amazon, so apparently they're still making them.
But where are their new models? I mean, this model's 4 years old at this point.
And at Blade Show, there was none at the tape, like at the Kaiser, because they're made by Kaiser. There was none at the Kaiser booth or anything, and they're just. I asked somebody about it. She didn't speak much English, and I didn't get a response. So I don't know what's going on.
Excuse me.
I actually do have one recommendation that I just got in that's not super expensive.
What's that?
I know Bob likes to refer to this company as like the hipster knife company. But I got this Quiet Carry Waypoint.
I have one too.
Oh my God. This thing is so good.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
And it's not just the way it looks, the way it's constructed is freaking awesome. It's rocking Vanex super clean steel. There we go.
You're the odd man out, Bob.
I am. And just for the record, it's the James brand that I call the hipster knife. But I think I
was gonna say James brand when he said that. That's definitely. I went to this really weird record store. Not really weird, really cool. It's the one that Jack White owns down in Nashville, and they had James brand knives.
Of course they did. Of course,
in the thing, which was like so on point. See, I got the Stonewash one. You got the black coated one?
Yeah, I got the PVD one.
That would have. I might have gotten that one, but when I got mine, it was the first day they were out, and they didn't have the PVD one on the site. They just had the Stonewash or the Bead Blast. But I'm happy with the Stonewash.
Well, it was the same thing. I got this one too, right when they came out. But then he posted a picture of this one on Instagram, and I begged him real quick. I'm like, hey, can you swap me out real quick? I want that one. He's like, okay, no problem. They're like only half an hour away from my house.
Oh, really?
And their customer service is so good. The guy actually went on my IG and noticed that I was a Marine Corps veteran. Oh, cool. And then he sent me like $30 back. He's like, hey, by the way, just wanted to give you a veteran discount. I'm like, I don't
need use that. What was I thinking? I'm Air Force vet.
There you go, man.
I'm not the real military, just the Air Force. Maybe that's why I don't get that.
It's all the military, man.
Brian, he says his Waypoint hasn't shipped yet. He ordered it on the 31st. Is there they're a small, I would imagine, small outfit?
It's one dude.
Oh, yeah, it's
right
one
now
dude.
It's only one guy right now. So
that's so cool.
So he's like saying 3 to 5 days for processing. And just bear with him. If you guys don't hear anything, you can hit him up on IG. He's really, really good about it. But man, really awesome.
Maybe you can answer what I want to know. I think I know, and I didn't say in the review because it's the review. It's gonna live forever. This is made by Wheat, right?
It is not. He doesn't say who it's made by.
Oh, it's
the
not made by
him. Okay. Very distinctively we. That's why I was guessing it was we.
He doesn't really say. He kept insinuating to me that it was all mostly in-house stuff.
What's up, man? Good to have you here.
Oh, see, I didn't think it was because I know he's just a one-man show, so I just assumed it was made overseas.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. We didn't get into specifics.
I don't give a crap either way. It's awesome. I don't care where it's made, but
yeah. But it's and the manufacturing is like on point. I mean, even like the rounding, beautiful. Yeah, it's just the clips perfect. It's reversible.
What's
and Vanex
like 3 1/4? What is that?
Yeah,
3 1/3.
Yeah, 3 1/3, and then it's got LC 200N liners. So the thing's like pretty much rust proof is the idea.
So you were about to talk about the Vanex blade. Were you going to talk about how Vanex is super rust resistant or something?
It is.
Okay.
It's super rust resistant, but it gets a really nice fine grain.
And the edge retention is like almost M390 level.
It's very close, and that's pretty amazing for a nitrogen-based steel.
The Waypoint is made overseas from a small manufacturing company, but he doesn't say.
Okay, so not we. Yeah. So my guess was off. But whoever the hell makes it, good job. I don't care who you are. But that is beautiful. I love mine so much that this weekend I'm going to dip it in a salt bath.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I'm doing a comparison between this and the Spidey Chef, and I'm gonna probably right now my 2 favorite knives I own, and I'm gonna dunk them in a salt in a simulated ocean water solution for a couple hours, probably 4 or 5 hours, and then pull them out and just let them sit and air dry and see what happens. I think they're both going to be absolutely fine, or I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have great faith in these.
I know the Spidey Chef will be all right because I've seen other people do it. And I can't imagine. I know people have done it with the Drift, and the Drift was okay. Another quiet carry model that's also Vanix and LC200N bits and stuff. And those were fine. So pretty sure it's going to be all right, but I'm not going to say I'm not going to be sweating for those 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, no kidding. So okay, so I got 2. Yeah, just like my proposed idea of buying 2 Emersons, one on washers and one on bearings, and torture testing them and then checking. I know that if I had those in hand, I'd be like, well, I better keep these pristine and then try and get 2 others that I can torture. So.
But just think of the views. You'd earn like $12 off of that on YouTube.
$12. Yeah, man. That's a pack of cigarettes. So we're talking about I want to ask about CJRB because I just ordered one, the Tala, which is such a cool looking. It's a very cool looking kind of Warren Cliff.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Blade, but we're talking about budget, and I just got this at Walmart. Okay, so this is one of the Ozark Trail 498 knives, and actually, it's pretty damn good. And I'll you got
somebody just sent me one that he custom dyed as a joke gift. Like literally, I got this 2 days ago.
Hey man, it's more centered.
Mine is M390. Is yours M390? It says right on the blade, so I know it's real.
Nice. That's awesome. But it just goes to show, I mean, okay, so I think it's not a bad design. I think if you rounded out the choil and made it like a Spyderco 50/50 choil, you'd have a pretty nice knife here. The steel is obviously not great, but it's centered, it's stout, it's got no blade play. And if you got $5 to spend on a knife, dude, this will do the trick. You're a high school kid. You just got your first warehouse job, and you need something to open boxes. This will do it. This will do it for a while, and you'll sharpen it down to a nub. So, I just feel like the you can go really, really cheap and find quality now. I'll dunk them in the ocean for you. I'll swear I'll get them back to you.
No, you won't.
That's a great idea.
I know you better than that. But no, yeah, this thing is not the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like somebody sent it to me as a gag gift, and I opened it up and I'm like, this isn't horrid. Like it's not good. Yeah, but it's not awful. I wouldn't feel unsafe like handing this to somebody.
I would say for $5, it's good.
Yeah,
$5. So I think we can get though I do see, like when I look in the opening hole, I do see occlusions or little cracks in the steel. So who knows? I mean, I wouldn't do pull-ups on it. I have that Ozark. It is good. Perfect for a shop knife or a knife to practice modding. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And I got to say, ergonomically, it feels great in the hand, and all they need to do is take this.
Yeah, practice modding.
I know you're listening, idea. Ozark Trail. I know you're listening. Just kidding.
Next episode brought to you by Ozark Trail.
Yeah, because that's how my life works.
I like this thought that says practice modding on that. I practice my modding on Hinderer parts because I'm a moron.
I don't know what CJRB stands for other than artisan, low end artisan.
Yeah.
Or that's CJRB, yeah. Acronym for where they are located.
Oh, that makes sense.
China, and then JRB is like
unpronounceable
progressively smaller areas. So yeah, I ordered the Nala. I should have told Jim about this earlier. He would have been able to call it up. But the Nala is a cool flipper. It was in the first sort of the first wave of their knives, and it's got a very kind of space age Viking look that I like. This sort of Saxy blade. But it was only $35, I believe. So
yeah, that's about all they go for, 35 or 40.
Having just gotten this the Civivi, I'm like, man, now I have to see. So I will have a Civivi, a Tangram, and I want to check out this. So it's research,
Yeah, it's all for the channel. That's what I tell my wife all the time. It's for the channel.
Hey baby, it's for the channel. Hey baby,
what's that box we got? It's for the channel. Don't worry about it.
The channel. It's none of your concern. It's for
Don't
the channel.
Don't you worry your pretty little head about
it. Yeah, right. I would get my ass kicked. Well, that's what
I just show her the YouTube ad revenue checks, and I don't tell her how much it cost me to get that.
Ooh, like that. I like that. Baby, just take a look at this. Take a look at what's coming in.
She knows what comes in. She doesn't necessarily know everything that's going out, but
well, that's man's got to have his secrets. Whoa, I shouldn't say that. My wife might be. No, but I don't mean it that way.
We're being recorded, guys. We're being recorded.
We are being recorded. No,
a man's got to have his slush fund. I think that
a man's got to have his slush fund. It's like I work with two avid fly fishermen, and we all have the same tactics. And I was actually talking to my dad back in the 80s. He used to collect wine. Same thing. He'd have cases of wine sent to work, and he'd sneak them in the house, just like I have knives sent to work, and I sneak them in the house. My buddies at work have fly rods sent to work, sneak them in the house. What's that long cylinder? At least knives are easy to sneak in, and they're not that expensive.
I get that question. How do you justify your knife collection? Your wife has said, start a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Sure, you're not just some good for nothing.
Just say, yeah, it's for the channel. Don't worry about it.
I just wore mine out. She started seeing knives come in all the time. She's like, oh, how much was that one? How much was that one? How much was that one? And it turned into, I don't care. Whatever.
I was into cars. I was into old cars before, so she takes this much better than my old car habits.
Yeah, I've dropped that from time to time. Wouldn't it be so much more expensive if I was into like motorcycles or cars? And then I'll mention other friends who have more expensive hobbies, and it's like, I guess knives, pocket knives. How bad can it be? I'm off, guys. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jock's Knife.
All right, Jock's
Great
Knife.
having you.
Good
Thanks for joining us. Take care. Can you put up Stasa's last comment, and then I think we're gonna head on to the knife fight. China junk rejects blades. That's good. Just like that was a little thinner and rather thick behind the edge.
They are. That's true.
Well, since I don't intend on cutting with mine, I just intend on looking cool with it. I'm fine with that. So tonight's knife fight, guys, is actually going to be between the two of you. And I'm
crap.
Now it's your turn to get ambushed. It's happened to me twice. So
no. Bob always destroys me every knife fight. It's horrible.
So and I think you've seen it's washers versus bearings, and believe it or not, we haven't done this. We've done tip up down, we've done Bowie Tanto, we've done a number, but this is a very obvious one. Washers versus bearings. The question is, who takes what? Who takes what? We're gonna wait.
I think we just rock paper scissors for it, right? And then winner gets to choose.
Jeez, man, of course.
That's the way wars have been settled. So all right, you ready?
Are we going for best out of three or just the first win?
Just one.
Just one, right?
What am I in? What am I in? Grade school?
All right, ready?
All right, on three.
Rock, paper, scissors. 1, 2, 3. Of course, they both go for the blade.
This is so bad. There we go. I got it. I'll take bearings.
Okay.
All right.
Alex
needs bearings. Oh man, actually, I love washers, guys.
Brian clearly needs to defend washers.
Now, I'm gonna take bearings because this is why. So yes, theoretically, washers are better if you are in a dirty, like nasty environment. Totally get it for that. None of us do that. Like out of all the knife owners that actually need to justify having washers for that reason, it's like 15-20%. And bearings are just fun. They're just fun. A lot of us just flip stuff and play with them. They're fun. And why hate fun? They're perfectly fine for 90% of us.
I like that.
That is my defense.
I was sensing the "you must hate puppies" argument coming with that too, but
yeah.
It's funny because me and Bob were just having this conversation like last week. But in all honesty, I mean, bearings are great if you like to play with toys. But if you do plan to take the knife, in the mud or get grungy with it, or you're gonna go just outdoors with the knife, you can dump it in the stream, you can dump it in your pocket, and you're good to go. I clearly think washers are superior.
If I was to dunk my knife in a stream, I'd be much more worried about my phone.
So I got so another knife guy prefers washers, and I gotta say I was shocked. These are washers. These are bronze washers.
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's on bearings, mate.
Well, you look in there, and all you see is bronze.
That's on bearings. If they only do one that's on wash, the governor is on washers. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so, though.
You know what? The thing is I haven't taken it apart. So maybe you just can't see the bearings the usual way. Who said that? Who said that? All right, guys. Well, it's been a real pleasure. Oh, so who won?
Who won? Clearly, Slicey won.
I think it's up to you guys.
That
said, I have. We do these. They're a joke. I mean, I have a lot of phosphor bronze knives. I mean, this is one of my favorites. It just got spends 31.
31.
Lots of the Waypoint we both were just raving about is on washers.
Yeah, I think your clip is bent.
What do you think about the 30?
Just done correctly now.
What do you think about the 31 versus the 21?
The few problems I have with the 21 for me personally are fixed with the 21. So. Yeah. I always had a problem. I know that Chris Reeve says it's not supposed to be flicky. I like it. I like to flick it. And the 21 would do that perfectly fine, but the clip, as Bob was just pointing out, is it used to go straight, so it rode right on the my fingers are all backwards. It rode right on the lock bar. Right. And I could just never make my hand do it right. And I was always pushing on the lock bar, and it drove me insane. So they fixed that. Now there's that ceramic detent ball. I don't honestly notice that big a difference with that. It still sounds the same and everything. It still acts the same. I do like that hole being missing a lot more than I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
I thought, who cares? But that's nice. I thought that the fact now you can cut the lanyard off and the tube doesn't fall out, I thought that was new to the 31, but I guess that was in later 21s as well.
Oh, really?
But this is just a plain one. I had a big genius plan. I was going to get this, keep it for a couple months and sell it before Blade Show and go buy a fancy one at Blade Show. But I like this one so much that I think I'm just going to keep it. And whenever the Tantos come out, I'll probably buy a Tanto or an Insingo.
God, I love their Tanto. I just love it.
I think it's cool as hell, and I've never had one. So
yeah,
I'll probably get a Tanto with like the Black Mike Harder or something on it. But I love it. It's I just did a Battle Through the Death that was very controversial, and it lost. But I still love it, and I have no intentions to get. I really expected to get crucified for that, and I had a few people really mad. Not in the comments. I got some really nasty emails.
Really?
But, from Chris Reeve fans, but I still love them both. I mean, it was the narrowest of wins. I gave it to the XM18 just because you can do more than XM. You can get so many different variants.
Yeah. Well, it's like I tell my 9-year-old daughter, just you don't have to hate someone because their opinion is different.
No.
Yeah. And I'm wrong. I'm wrong all the time. It's perfectly fine to think I'm wrong. But
will CRK ever have a new knife design? Yes.
And again, James Moore, a good point. That is something I pointed out. Is that Hinderer doesn't have a lot of new knife designs, but they have some. And especially the last few years, there's been a lot of new ones. But
the Harzy slip joint is cool.
Yeah, not just going to the Triway, but they had the Eclipse 3, and they've had a bunch of new stuff, and a whole lot of new blade shapes they didn't do before. And I think the thing that pushed it to the edge for me is if you want a Chris Reeve and you want to make it your own, which you can get, there's lots of options, but they charge a lot extra for it.
Right.
Hinderer doesn't. If you just go by and you want a bronze anno lock side with a red G10 and you can find one, it costs exactly the same as a bog standard one.
Yeah, I actually just got a XM18 skinny. And,
I haven't gotten one of those yet. I have one coming to review, but I haven't got. How do you like it? Is it the skinny slicer or the skinny skinner?
Yeah, exactly.
The blade one. Yeah, I got one of those coming to review, and I'm an idiot. I'm gonna buy it. I just know I am.
Oh God, that's beautiful.
You should, man. I really, really, really like it. It's very comfortable in the hand. I thought it was gonna be too skinny. Like where you have like the tallness, but maybe like a little too tight. But it's perfect. I really like it.
I just feel dumb because that's not even my favorite Hinderer, and I have two of them already. I have two XM18s already, and it's not even the Hinderer I like the most. I like the Jurassic the most.
That's a cool knife too.
It is cool, especially since they changed the scale.
I know you're trying to get off, but
well, that's all right.
Alex and I are taking over your podcast, so you can go take a break for.
Good night.
I just got new custom scales for my Jurassic from Sharp Dress Knives.
That's nice.
Oh yeah,
that's
nice. I have something by them.
And I put the bronze on the other side.
Is that natural micarta?
So, yeah, they were just natural micarta. I think I put a little mineral oil on and make them a little bit darker.
Yeah, and
I'll probably put a little bit more on. But he also sent me a marble carbon and a polished purple G10.
That guy does some nice work, man.
He does amazing work. And dude, I said, hey, I got a set of his scales through somebody else, and I loved him. And I did a little video for my smock, and I did a video about those, and they were micarta, very similar to this. And we got to chat, and I said, dude, these are amazing. I want to get more from you. And he does a lot of Hinderer scale. So I said, any chance you've done a Jurassic? And he was like, no, I haven't, but I'd love to. And he was Instagram messaging me. And a couple hours later, I went to go message him back to say, I'll send you mine so you can model it, off of mine. And he said, I ordered a Jurassic. It'll be here in a couple days. I had these in at most 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
And they were done. And they're perfect. And the carbon one is even more perfect.
Yeah.
He does great work. He's super, super quick and very reasonably priced as well. I think this scale would be $80 if you bought it. $60 or $80. And because it's just one scale, so it's cheaper, but I think it's like $60, but he does amazing work and very, very reasonably priced.
Jim, put 2 comments back. Andrew was mentioning Largent Cosi is his favorite CRK because he can't pick up a Hinderer because of the lefty issue.
Yeah, that is a thing. They don't do lefties. I understand that. My son's left-handed. I should be more sympathetic to that, but I'm not.
I'm left-handed, but I usually manipulate knives right-handed anyways. So
I am extremely right-handed.
So is this therapeutic edge asked, is the skinny closer to the Z?
It's skinnier
too.
It's skinnier.
Yeah, because the 0562 is pretty almost identical to the to the regular XM18.
It was just a pain in the butt to order parts for the skinny though. Like if you guys are into modding knives and stuff like that, I was lucky I scrounged some micarta scales from DLT Trading, and then I got most of the brass hardware for it. But I messaged Hinderer Knives today to see about getting stuff. So I guess the way they do it is they do the XM18 3-inch for the pivot. The skinny's got its own special spacers in the back.
Mm-hmm.
On this side, everything's standard XM18 except for the nuts. Those are skinny specific as well. So it's kind of weird to dress these up, but I got the battle bronze, so it looks cool already as is.
That's why I sold my Eclipse 3.0, just because there was no customization stuff for it, and I dyed the scale, and that's about all I could do.
Brian's Warney. You have a nice Warncliffe?
Oh yeah, I do. Hey, now it's a family show.
You look like the kind of guy that has a nice worn clip. I have a nice.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Skywarp 41 was showing off.
That is
on this
sweet.
show. Yeah, that is.
And this is just, and that's what I'm talking about. Hinderer. This is just
so.
bog standard. You can just. This is just Hinderer did this. It wasn't aftermarket modified. It just came that way, and it wasn't any extra.
That's perfect.
It is a USA blade exclusive. The blade shape is, but
right.
It's just the standard bronze. It's not anything fancy. This is kind of. This and my Jurassic are my like user ones that I actually don't ever worry about.
So the Jurassic to me, when it first came out, I was, God, that's a beautiful layout. But you know, I like the blade a little bit bigger. But the issue for me was that goofy scale on the first generation. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
The lizard one.
Yeah, it looked like irregular sort of scale pattern, and you can make scale pattern look cool, like on the ProTech TR whatever 3s. I think they have a cool scale pattern. Yeah. It can look really cool. I know Wii has done a cool scale pattern. Since you guys were showing off your
not look cool.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, I want one of those so bad.
And I this is a 24. I wonder what the skinny is like. This one is pretty fat. Compare this to the Praetorian, and the Praetorian is like a slender, it's much. Well, I guess you can't see it from there, but
XM 24 Warney though is pretty. That's on. I think my biggest one I want is I want an XM 18 no flipper, no choil.
Yes.
Which I did talk to Rick a while ago, and that maybe coming.
Oh,
he said keep an eye out in the fall, but that was before all this went down.
Right.
Who knows? But yeah, if I could get, I don't give a rat's ass what the blade is. I just want a no flipper, no choil XM18.
Yeah. I would.
I'm in love with the working finish. I just got my first one with a working finish, and that working finish is awesome.
It is.
Yep.
It is beautiful.
I used to like the bronze, but now I'm all about that working finish now.
That's what this is, and I love how in the nooks and crannies the heat treat has different colors, in the nooks, in the bottoms of the jimps and such.
Yeah,
it kind of takes on. All right, I could go on at length. I'm getting tired, so I would like to call this in. Oh, wait. Speaking of iconic USA production, Everson Commander or CQC7. I prefer the Commander personally. I love recurves and it's a bigger blade. But the 7, I have to say, which I had a while ago and got rid of, I've been lusting after recently. But I would like to get. I used to have the V ground version. I would like to get the straight chisel ground with the whole flat side, because it's amazing how sharp those are. It's pretty astounding how sharp a chisel ground blade can be.
I have no opinion on Emerson's. I've only had one, and I didn't like it, and I sent it back. I've had Kershaw Emerson's, but I only had one real one.
Yeah.
And it was a Bowie something. I don't remember what the hell it was even called.
A Bowie something. Could have been a 13.
Sounds right. Who
but
knows?
he makes an awful lot of
Bowie. It was years ago.
Anyway, gents, I wanna thank you, but oh God, the arch nemesis.
James,
he had to mention the arch nemesis. I'm sorry, that is my favorite folding knife of all time. Never held one.
It's an awesome knife. I was watching that video earlier.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail. I screwed up on that video too, because I did it at like 1 o'clock in the morning whenever my daughter and everybody was asleep. I wish I would have done that knife more justice, but I had to pump it out.
get it out and in the ether.
Yeah.
Slicey, Alex, I want to thank you both for coming on Thursday Night Knives. An absolute pleasure to have such expert opinions as yours, and definitely well arrived at opinions. You both are knife lovers through and through, so it's great having you guys.
It's always fun, actually. It was the first time I get to meet Slicey in person. I'm a big fan of his channel. So
thank you. I like yours as well.
Thanks, man.
And thank all you guys, Women Carry Knives, and Brian C. and everyone. Thanks for showing up. What were you going to say, Brian?
My virtual door is always open to you.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, as I mentioned, that does it. I want to thank Alex and Slicey for coming on by, and thank you all you guys for joining me and joining in the conversation. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe and share this video. All those little actions help in a big way. So for these fine gentlemen and Jim behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying good night, and don't take dull for an answer.